Now what I have to say is pretty urgent. This is a message that I want to get out to the black community. Excuse my voice if I sound kind of deep because I just woke up. Okay? And so I want young black women out there to listen very closely to what I have to say. And I'm talking all of you out there that are still old enough to be able to bear children. Now, I might only record about 10 minutes of this, and then I might end the video and do another video, because so many of my videos mysteriously come up where my voice has been altered. Okay? So I might have to do a series of videos in order to get the message out. But I don't know, maybe this time I may try to do an entire video. We'll see. What I would like to say is that I've been watching a lot of these crime documentaries about how a lot of these homicides are taking place in the black community. It's an awful lot. It is so many of them. I can't even. There's so many homicides going on that have happened in the black community until I can't even watch all of them. There's so many out there, I can't even keep up with the ones that I've watched and the ones that I haven't watched, because there's just so many. There's so many channels that are able to make all these documentaries, because the homicides just keep coming in almost every day. This is almost daily. At one time I heard there was a homicide in the black community every 5 hours. I don't know if the numbers have changed, but the more recent claim is that it's happening. There's a murder every, or at least 3 times a day, 2 to 3 times a day in the black community. First, it was every 5 hours, every 5 to 6 hours. Okay, now they're saying it's 3 times a day. There's murders in the black community. At least 3 women a day are being murdered. Apparently it's got to be true, because these crime stories just keep coming in. This is almost a daily thing. I can't even keep track of what I've watched. Each channel that I go to, there's tons of new videos being made. People are actually able to make documentaries off of this stuff and make a living making documentaries on the homicides in the black community, because there's so many that they can actually make a living off of recording documentaries. And there's several black people online that have channels doing these documentaries, reporting on these documentaries. When you only make up 13% of the population in the United States as the black race, okay, the black race apparently only makes up 13% of the population in the United States. I don't know if that's including biracial people or not. If it is including biracials, considering the fact that most of the people in the black community that have gotten here recently through births, and I'm talking within the last 10 years, those are all biracials. You might as well say it. because there's so much of this interracial race mixing going on as well. That's also something we're going to cover. I don't know. I really don't know what to think at this point, because right now I'm in my mid-50s. Okay, to be exact, I'm 55 years old. Okay. I haven't even been asked out on a date by a black man in about 30 years. It's been about 30 years since I've been on a date with a black man. A lot of that is because I'm not the type that approaches men. I'm not the type that goes after them. Not black men, anyways. Okay? Because I've never had to. When I was younger, I was always approached in my younger days. Okay? Now, the place that I live is a very mixed community. I live in the western part of the United States. I started noticing a huge influx in interracial dating I would say it started coming in around the year 2000. And that's when I started to notice it. A lot of black men starting to go for white women, and that went on for about 20 years, and then here recently there's a lot of black men going for these Latinas. Okay, so I haven't been asked out on a date in 30 years. Okay, it might be over 30 years, but I haven't been out with a black man, haven't dated a black man in about that long. Okay, now I'm a mixed race female. Okay, and so you can't sit here and say, oh, well, maybe, you need to step your game up or whatever. Maybe it's how you look. That ain't it. The problem with me is that there's so much interracial race mixing going on until I'm completely overlooked out here where I live. Okay? Now I'm going to stop talking about the homicides for a minute, and we're going to switch to all this interracial dating shit that's going on. Okay? I've told you guys in previous videos that I started to notice this huge influx by the year 2000, by the millennial. Okay? Once the millennial generation started to become of dating age, that's when I noticed things took a turn for the left. That's when I noticed a huge influx in all this race mixing, right around the time when the millennials started getting of dating age. Okay? And I also noticed about 50%, it was around about 50% of Generation X started to switch from black women to white women right around the early 2000 era. Okay? Now, I started to notice a lot of promoting with race mixing within the media, probably by the year 2005, 2000, right around that time. I think the media started to promote all this race mixing right around 2003, 2004, 2005 is when I started to notice they started in with all these commercial, they started making all these commercials on TV, all of them consisting of white woman, black man, white woman, black man, white woman, black man. So it gradually came on. It wasn't in massive amounts of numbers like it is today, but it gradually started to come on with the promotions right around the early 2000 era. And so the interracial dating started to increase quite a bit, okay? And it increased so much that it got to a point that it's at a point now. Every single black woman that I know is single. Every single one of them. Every single black woman that I know is single. And we're talking mostly Generation X, okay? And about, I would say, 50% that I know within the millennial generation. I would say maybe 75% within the millennial generation, and then within Generation Z, I would say about 50% of them are single. Okay? Now, it's just kind of odd that you have all these homicides going on in the black community. And these are mostly in Blackistan type areas, because as I'm watching these crime shows that are coming on, these crime documentaries, a lot of these murders seem to be taking place in Blackistan areas. Okay, and Blackistan basically means areas that are at least 75% black. Okay, so I notice a huge amount of these murders taking place in the black community, and then in areas where there's not too many black people. Like where I live, the population of black people, it's about 5%. We get an awful lot of interracial commercials out here where you see black man, white woman, black man, white woman. Almost every commercial consisting of a black man, there's a white woman to accompany him. That on top of magazine covers, magazine articles, billboards promoting it, black man, white woman. You walk into the mall, you see mixed race kids on posters, or anywhere where they're advertising clothes, babies. It's all biracial children. You don't see a dark-skinned kid anywhere. And if you do, he's sitting with a white baby. I've noticed that. It's usually a dark-skinned black male with a white female baby. I've noticed that as well. That they're getting to a point where they have gotten really sick with this shit. Okay? So I'm beginning to wonder what's really going on here in the United States. What's really happening? Because if we have all these homicides going on in the black community, to where it's an awful lot of murders taking place, and then you have all these commercials where you have all this race promotions going on, wouldn't it make sense to, if you're seeing this many homicides in the black community between black men and black women, why would the media promote interracial mixing? If you know that there's a lot of murders taking place in the black community, so much that documentaries are being made to a point where I can't even keep up with all of them, why would you then turn around and promote white women to marry black men if there's an influx in their own communities with murder? Does that sound kind of odd? And when I'm watching these documentaries, I'm noticing that 9 out of 10 of these documentaries consist of black women who have careers. Almost every one that I'm watching, the black woman is always the one within, the couple that is bringing in most of the money. So these black women are apparently they're marrying the bottom of the barrel black men. So who's marrying all of our college graduates and all of our men with decent blue collar jobs? They're all going to white women. So is it any surprise that in the black community, all of our women who have college degrees are getting the bottom of the barrel men, while all of our college graduates, and I'm talking degrees and college graduates that just have certificates, jobs that are blue-collar jobs, all those men apparently are going for white women. So the media is basically destroying, or has destroyed, the black community. And my question is, why isn't the black community taking measures to stop this? Nobody sees that this is a problem. Our college female graduates are having to marry men that come out of prison because there's nobody left, because all of our men are being pondered off onto white and Hispanic women. Nobody seems to see that there's some type of agenda going on. And a lot of these women, I've noticed out here where I live, where the population is less than 5% black, every black man that I've ever seen is always in a interracial relationship. 9 out of 10 of them. 9 out of 10. The only ones that are with black women are from the boomerang generation, the baby boomers. Those are the only ones that I see that are with black women, and those are old school people from the baby boomer generation, and not all of them are with black women. It might be, I would say, maybe a fifth of them, or maybe 1 in 4. So what is going on? There's something not adding up. Then I've noticed here lately, I'm seeing a lot of murders happening between black women and white guys. Just the other day, I was watching the crime documentaries. Now I'm seeing an influx in murders that are happening between black women and white guys, where the white guy is murdering black women. 3 documentaries in one day. And all of these black women, all of them were chopped up and dismembered. All 3 of them. So you mean to tell me that black women are that difficult to get along with? Since when? Yeah, I get that some of them are hard to get along with. I do agree, because I mean, a lot of them do have attitudes, but is it at a point to where they have such bad attitudes where men are starting to unalive them at an extremely high rate, to a point where it's even happening in interracial couples? These aren't just normal murders. They are dismembered. These girls have been, all 3 of these girls that I've saw were dismembered, chopped up. So what is this doing to the minds of black women now across the nation? I mean, shit, you can't even get a black man because they're being pondered off onto white and Hispanic women. Every black man I know is either dating a white woman or a Hispanic woman. Every black woman that I know is single. Now, for our young black women that are of childbearing age, they're being murdered every time you turn around. So what message is this giving to our young women? And what is the black community doing about it? Well, I understand that they're trying to get a message out about there's a lot of femicide that's taking place, but what else is going on? What are the churches doing about this problem? Are the churches talking to their congregations about black femicide that's taking place? Well, a lot of stuff is going on in the black church. If the black pastors are not trying to molest the black males in the church, they're sleeping around with the women of the congregation, infecting them with HIV. I mean, I've been paying very close attention to these documentaries that are being shown within our community. This is a problem. So, I mean, there's nowhere to turn, really. You can't even go to church, because if you go to church, you got to watch every move your pastor makes around your son, if you have a son. A black woman can't date a black man from fear he's going to end up unaliving her. Well, apparently now we can't even date white men, because now it's all over the documentaries. White men are starting to unalive black women. What is going on here? Are we not supposed to have anyone? Nobody is supposed to date black women? But while all these murders are supposedly taking place in the black community, interracial race mixing is being promoted? It's just kind of odd to me. I'm not sure what to believe. I mean, it just sounds to me like there's some type of agenda to keep black women single. Because if you're watching these documentaries, eventually it's going to scare you from dating black men and white men. So apparently there's some type of agenda to keep black women single. Because I don't really know if these documentaries, if I think some of them are true, but are all of them true? Because if the homicide rates are that high in the black community, and then we have a large influx of black men dating outside the race, wouldn't the murders keep going on? Or are you just trying to give the impression that black women are undateable? I mean, this is just really odd to me. I don't know how to take this or what to believe. I don't know if this is some type of agenda to keep all races of men away from black women. Something happened somewhere to some elite that pissed somebody off, and it seems to me like there's an agenda to keep all black women by themselves, because it's just rather odd that, within the last 15 years or so, the homicide rates are off the chain. And then the question that I have is, if you know that the homicide rates are that high in the black community, if you know that black men are running off and leaving their children fatherless, there's a lot of single parented black women running around, why would you then turn around and promote them to be with your daughters as white people? Why would you then promote interracial dating if you know that black men have a reputation of high homicide rates in their community? A lot of them are in and out of prison, and they don't father their children. A lot of them leave their women single parents. So why would you then promote race mixing if you know that this is a problem in the black community? Wouldn't you be afraid that this is going to also happen with race mixing? Because if you're going to sit here and say, well, it's because black women have careers, if that's what you guys are trying to imply, white women also have careers. They also are going to college and getting degrees. And a lot of them are nurses, and they work in offices, and they have office jobs, and a lot of them are the primary providers of their families as well. So how come the murders aren't happening everywhere black men go? Because there's a lot of white women that are also making quite a bit of money in their households. So wouldn't there be a lot of homicides in the white community as well? Because a lot of white women are also the primary money makers in their families. But I'm not noticing near as many crime documentaries, or maybe I'm just not watching them. But it just sounds a little odd to me, like there's some type of agenda to keep black women single. It just sounds rather odd. And I'm not saying that these homicides are not real. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, if that is the case, then why would you promote race mixing? Wouldn't you be afraid that that might happen in the white community? Apparently not. That's kind of odd to me. So I'm not sure whether all these documentaries are true, or if some of them are for entertainment purposes. Because, again, if you know that that there's that many murders that take place. Why would you promote race mixing with white women and black men? Something just ain't adding up. But whatever the situation, whatever is going on, black women are having to take the toll of all of this. I haven't been out on a date. Excuse me. I haven't been out on a date in about 30 years. There's nothing wrong with the way that I look. I mean, I have the features that black men like. So you can't sit there and say, well, it's how you look. No, it's not. No, it's not. That ain't it. Black men won't even look in my direction, and I'm not saying it's a big deal because I don't even date black men. Part of the reason why is because they won't look in my direction. So I when I was dating, it wasn't black men because none of them would even look in my direction. There was so much race mixing promotions going on. Everywhere I went, white man, black woman, everywhere. Or, white woman, black man, everywhere that I went. Now I'm starting to see videos promoting black women to just leave the country. What is it with black women? What happened with the elites? Something happened somewhere where black women seem to be very, very hated across this country. I mean, damn. It's every woman I know is single. Every single woman I know. And we're talking, we got black women with careers now. Well, what do black men expect us to do if 90% of the women in our community are single and black women are seeing this? Are they supposed to just not go to school at all and just depend on black men to make a living for the family when black men don't typically have reputations for going to college, not even trade school? And a lot of them, if we're talking about Blackistan areas, a lot of them are making, the money that they make is criminal type of money. They're getting it through selling drugs or doing other things to bring in money. Not all of them, but they're not, you can't depend on them just selling fake Gucci watches and all that type of stuff. That can't possibly provide enough money to make for a living. You need somebody in the household that has some kind of trade school degree or certificate or a diploma, a degree, something. And then when we finally get those men in the community, there are some of them that actually do go to college and get degrees, and some of them do go to trade schools and get, a diploma or a certificate. All of them marry outside the race. They all marry outside the race. So the only men left for black women are guys coming out of prison. And then half of them are going dating outside the race because race mixing is being promoted at a unbelievable level. So what the fuck are black women supposed to do? Why is all this anger and hatred geared towards black women? What did black women do? I'm not getting it. I haven't done nothing to no one. Nobody in my family has done anything. Nobody will come near me. As soon as they find out I'm a black female, they stay as far away from me as possible. So what in heaven's name went on in the spirit world? What went on with these secret societies? Something happened somewhere where somebody of high rank got pissed off and apparently has set some kind of curse or spell or something against black women, to something happened to a point where we're all being punished. And I want to know what I want to get down to the bottom of this. What's going on? Because it just don't add up to me. Because you don't have near as many murder, or you don't have many homicide rates are not as high when black men are marrying outside the community. The homicide rates are not nearly as high. So you mean to tell me that white women don't have careers? They have, a lot of them have more careers than black women. Every time I go to the hospital or to some office, white women are sitting behind the desk. White women nurses, white women therapists, white women. The last time I went to get some work done with my gastroenterologist, she was white. There were 3 female gastroenterologists in this office that I went to. So you mean to tell me that white women are not out here getting degrees? They are. They are. But the homicide rates don't seem to be near as high in the white community. You mean to tell me all these black women are that hard to get along with? I don't think so. They're no harder today to get along with than they were, well, back in the 50s. Some of them are, though. Some of them are indeed kind of standoffish and very difficult to relate to. I've noticed it. This has been going on for nearly all my life, where I've noticed that. But that don't have anything to do with black women and black men, though. How I get along with black women. So I don't think that all these black women could possibly be that hard to get along with, to a point where the homicide rates in the community are off the chain. And all I've been hearing is, oh, well, it's because black women have careers. That's the excuse that they're giving. But is it because black women have careers, or is it because the promoting of interracial race mixing is so high that it's really caused an influx? So a lot of things, I don't know, just ain't adding up. And it's looking very, very bad for black women. Because, I mean, how is this looking to us when I don't even get to date black men because they are so fucking racist towards women of their own race that, of course, they won't even look in my direction. And so most of the men that I have dated come from East Asia. They're Indian men. Because I'm not really attracted to white men like that. I'm just not. Latino men, I've never really been into them like that. So the only men really that I was ever attracted to outside of the black community were East Indian men, and a lot of them look black. So that has a lot to do with why I have dated East Indian men in the past, because they look like black men. And I feel very comfortable around them. Okay, the only reason why it's been at least since I've been out on a date with Indian guys, it's been about 15 years, is because a lot of the jobs that were out here that used to draw them in, like computer jobs and technical jobs dealing with computers, those jobs got taken out of the country. And so the Indian men that used to come to this area no longer are here. So that caused my dating to dive straight down to zero. Without Indian men, I don't date, because Latino men are so racist, because Latina women tend to raise their kids, it's a part of their culture, they have a caste system in their community where they promote their women to date black men, and they train their men to stick with women, white Hispanic women in their community. That's how they do that. They raise their men to be racist, and then they're raised to come and take all of our football players and movie stars and college graduates. That's how they do that. That's what they're raised to do. And I've noticed that takes place in the black community. There's a lot of the Hispanic girls that do come and pick which guy they want out of our community. I noticed they go for a lot of our men that have college degrees, trade jobs, like if they went to school for plumbing or something like that. So they take a lot of them. Any black man that has any type of potential, that's who they go for. There was one time that I was working on this job and the manager was black. It was unbelievable the amount of Latino or the amount of Latina girls that were going for him. And were looking down their nose at me if he came and would speak to me for 5 minutes. They were having fits. Like he was a part of their community. I mean, the way some of these non-black women act like they own black men is unbelievable. But yeah, and then white women will go for anything. As long as he has black skin, she'll go for him. Because they're being trained by the media to do that. While black women are shown in the media is by herself. There were times I was just in the mall a couple of months ago where I saw this ad that was being promoted where it was a couple, an interracial couple was on this poster. White woman, black man, of course. She had on a bridal wear gown. He has on a groom suit. And then they showed in another part of the store, they showed a black woman in a bridal gown. She didn't have a mate with her though. She was just in a bridal gown by herself. So it's very, very obvious there's some type of agenda to keep black women single. Now, if this is an attempt to destroy the black family, if this is what all this is about, I would encourage black women to get the fuck up out of here. If you have degrees of any kind, if you have any type of diplomas from trade school, certificates that can make a pretty decent living, make up enough money to pack your shit and get out of the United States, because this agenda against black women is real. It's real. There's so many single black women in the black community. I can't even. Every woman, like I just told you guys, every single black woman that I know is single. Every single time I see a black man out here in this state that I'm at, he's with a Latino woman or a white woman. Now, Latina women have a whole lot of nerve to date black men when you guys wouldn't even vote for a black female president, but yet you're fine with mixing your DNA with the sons that come out of our wombs. That's a lot of fucking nerve. You're fine with creating babies with our sons, but you can't vote for a black female president. Well, if you have that much animosity towards black women, stay away from their sons that come out of their womb. I mean, Latina women have a whole lot of nerve to run around here dating black men when you don't even like black women, for one. And number two, you raise the men in your community to stick with Latina women. But then you raise the men in your community to stick with you guys, but you raise your daughters to come into the black community and take all of our men with financial potential. So a lot of you black women out there need to stop befriending. You need to stop making friends with these women, because all of them are your competition, and they're not in it for your good. They're using you as an antenna to come into your community and see what men is available. Stop hanging around these women. Stop hanging around them. Stop bringing them into your neighborhood. Stop welcoming them into your churches and into your nightclubs and hanging out with them, because they're not doing anything but coming into your community, taking all of your men with financial potential while you guys remain single. That's what they're doing. That's why they're becoming friends with you guys. That shit ain't real. Because if it was, they wouldn't have had a problem voting in Kamala Harris. See, they don't like you. They don't want to put you in powerful positions, but then they'll come into your community and take all your powerful men. Stop hanging out with them. Stop. Same thing with white women. Stop friending people who are coming into your community, taking all of your men with potential while you guys are remaining single. Stop doing it. Because you guys might sit up here and say, oh, well, you're just taking this too far. You're being racist. And, well, you explain to me why all the women in our community are single. How do these men know that women like me have an attitude when they won't even speak to me to find out? Black men are a lot of them are so racist. They won't speak to black women. They won't have a thing to do with you unless they necessarily have to. So it seems to me like the few of them that do get with black women, all of them are from Blackistan areas. And again, the homicide rates are so high, it's off the chain. So this is weird. It seems to me like if the rates of black women are over 50% of them are single. We're talking about 75% of them are single. Why is there race promoting going on? And what's wrong with Latino men that so many Latina women are coming to the black community to find mates? What is wrong with Latino men? Because back in the 80s and the 90s, Latino women stuck with their own men. So what happened? That Latino men are no longer attractive, or they're not making money? What happened in the Latino community to where there's a huge influx of Latina women coming over to the black community to find potential mates? what happened with y'all's men? How come Latino men are no longer marriage material all of a sudden? Because I would say at least 1.25 of them, it's about 1/4 of them, are running over to the black community in droves, trying to get with any man they can find that has potential. Even if he has a house, they're trying to scoop him up. I've noticed that. If he has any type of assets that they find that are profitable or whatever, they're getting with them. So if he could be a blue collar worker, but if he owns a home, they're after him. You black women out there better wake up and see what's going on. Get your sons, if they're under the age of 12, get them out of the United States. Because the agenda is to keep you as a black woman single and to keep your children fatherless, while you have to get out here and try to get a job. You're having to compete with white men. And now, since a certain individual has been in office, a whole lot of black women have been laid off. So now what are you guys what are you gonna do now? It just seems to me like there's a very, very wicked agenda going on with these people in power and black women. There's something just ain't adding up somewhere. They are trying to push black women all the way down to zero, where you have nothing. And you can't even depend on black men because, again, a lot of them are being promoted to date and marry outside the race. So what are you supposed to do, black woman? Thank God I have my family. All the women in my family are single, but we all stick together. So that's how we're getting by. But they're probably going to find a way to stop that from happening if they can. My message to young black women out there would be to save up your money and get out of the United States. Get out as fast as you can. Go to Africa, go to Costa Rica, go to some of these islands, go to France, go to Australia. Get out of the United States, because they are trying to destroy the black race for sure. And I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what that's all about. Does it have to do with President Obama? What is it? Is it because black women have gone out and went to college? They didn't have any other choice. They had to become the primary breadwinners within the black community, because black men weren't doing it. They had to find some kind of way to survive. So if it's because black women were getting college degrees, how else were they supposed to survive when 95% of them were ending up single parented? Because black men have an awful habit of leaving their women behind as single parents. And so what were black women supposed to do? And after years of seeing that, black women started going to college, getting degrees. Now that's a problem. Now a lot of them are being murdered because they have these degrees, and when they do get with these men out of prison, because white and Hispanic women have taken all their men with potential, these guys are unaliving them. You guys better wake up and find and see what's happening. The United States is not in our best interest. Get out while you can. Thanks so much for listening.